IHOP's name change to IHOB had the world talking like never before, but prior to the name change, IHOP was struggling to stay in business. Traffic to IHOP locations had been declining for the last 10 quarters prior to the campaign, and the family dining restaurant industry was shrinking as a whole. IHOP needed a boost in sales, and one famous marketing campaign would do just that. This is the story of how IHOB saved IHOP's business. Ever since IHOP first opened its doors in 1958, the restaurant was always known for one thing: pancakes. Obviously, it's in the name. Over the past decades, IHOP and its famous flapjacks were dominating the family dining industry. However, this recent decade showed a massive decline in foot traffic to IHOPs across the world. Competitors like Denny's were winning over customers with a wide variety of great tasting foods that can be eaten any time of day, not just morning pancakes. So IHOP took action and teamed up with creative agency Droga 5 and research companies Hypothesis and Talk Shop to see where they could expand their business and win back customers. They found that IHOP was great at getting customers to eat at their restaurants in the morning, but its PM traffic struggled immensely compared to its competitors. In December of 2017, 89% of respondents rated IHOP as being great for a meal during breakfast hours, but that equity faded as the day moved on. 74% saw IHOP as great during lunch hours, and only 61% saw it great during dinner hours. An opportunity for growth was found. IHOP needed a way to get customers in their door for lunch and dinner time. Consumer research identified burgers as the strongest opportunity to establish credibility in PM hours. IHOP leveraged multiple stages of consumer research to optimize a new line of ultimate steak burgers. They added 7 new burgers to its menu, including a mushroom and Swiss topped burger, one with jalapenos and pepper jack cheese, and one covered in BBQ sauce and crispy onion rings. Test market trials then showed that the new line of steak burgers surpassed expectations and outperformed IHOP's original burgers on nearly all key metrics. Darren Rebelez, president of Dine Brands, which is IHOP's parent company, said, "When we tested the burgers, the results were very strong, and we achieved a 92% intent to repurchase. Once we developed these amazing burgers, we had to generate excitement about them and convey to our guests that we take our burgers just as seriously as we take our pancakes." So, how do you get the world to care about burgers from a pancake house? This, of course, is where the IHOB marketing campaign was born. The chief marketing officer at IHOP, Brad Haley, said, "Everyone knows that IHOP makes world-famous pancakes, so we felt like the best way to convince them that we are as serious about our new line of ultimate steak burgers as we are about our pancakes was to change our name to IHOB." With that being said, on June 4th, 2018, IHOP put out a tweet with the date June 11th, 2018, saying they were changing their name to IHOB. Unexpectedly, the internet broke. Everyone was trying to guess what the B stood for, which resulted in one of the biggest guessing games in internet history. News outlets like Vice, NPR, HuffPost, Today, and more covered the name change. IHOP continued the conversation at what the B could stand for with polls, pictures, and replies on Twitter. Then, on June 11th, the big reveal came: the International House of Burgers. They put out a tweet revealing what the B stood for that generated 614,000 tweets on the first day and 5 billion impressions in the first week. Along with their posts on social media, IHOP released a commercial showing off their new burgers and a $6.99 combo meal with unlimited fries. The commercial takes place on the roof of an IHOP, which is very smart considering that IHOP has an iconic roof, so leveraging this imagery helped reinforce the campaign as uniquely tied to the brand. IHOP went all in on the name change. They didn't want consumers to perceive it as a publicity stunt, so they changed everything related to their name that had a P to a B, including their website, social channels, Wikipedia page, and even their employee titles. IHOP even went as far as changing the looks of their most popular location on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. They changed the logo on the outside, the artwork on the inside, their iconic syrups, coffee mugs, and even put a sweet neon sign inside too. It goes without saying that this change had people talking. More importantly, famous people. IHOP had Diplo, Chrissy Teigen, the Cookie Monster, YG, Gigi Hadid, and many more stars talking about their name change. Even their burger competitors joined in on the fun, with brands such as Burger King, White Castle, and Whataburger spoofing IHOB and changing their own names. The same day of its name change, IHOP hosted a VIB launch event for influencers and press to try their new burgers. They also created an IHOB burger booth where they filmed guests at the event tasting their burgers for the first time and turned it into testimonial content paired with positive press reviews to encourage people to try the burgers. Speaking of, did people actually try the burgers? It's one thing to get a lot of attention on social media, but did that attention convert to sales? The answer, yes, and a lot of them. Chief Marketing Officer Brad Haley said the company sold 4 times more burgers after the campaign was launched without hurting its breakfast business. The company at its peak was selling 500,000 burgers per week, and its same-store sales grew by 1.2% during its third quarter. Not only did the IHOP campaign drive sales, but it also drove conversation, and a lot of it. IHOP was covered by almost every media publication and generated more than 28,000 broadcast segments and press articles. It earned $113 million in earned media revenue, 42.5 billion impressions, 1.2 million social media mentions in the first 10 days, and it landed at number 1, number 2, and number 5 trending spots on Twitter at the same time, beating stories like the Trump and Kim Jong-un summit and the net neutrality rulings. As a result of the increase in sales, IHOP's parent company, Dine Brands Global, saw a 31% increase in stock price in just 3 weeks. What seemed like a massive publicity stunt turned into a 21st century marketing success story, as said by the New York Times. For a brand that was losing customers every year, they needed something as bold and as brave as IHOP, and they executed it perfectly. It helped save a dying restaurant chain and turned it into a growing one, and they have nothing else to thank except one flip of a letter.